On June the 8th, the UK will hold a snap general election. What are the issues? What's at stake? Who's going to win? Two former journalists with The Economist are going to discuss this. I'm John Andrews. I'll be riding in the cab for PS with Bill Emmott. Bill, thanks for joining me in this cab ride. Strange thing to be doing, but let's talk about the British election, June the 8th.
Yes.
Snap election, announced just a few days after Theresa May's own spokesman said, no, definitely will not be an election. Not so long after she had ruled it out as well. What's changed her mind?
I think that she probably planned this all along. It was entirely logical. It does seem.
Is this a conspiracy theory on your part?
No, it's a realistic view about politics.
Right.
Basically, the more that administration denies something, the likelier it is to happen.
Indeed.
Is a reasonable principle.
Yeah.
And it was just entirely logical.
Yeah.
No mandate. Prisoner of the nutcases in the Conservative Party. Labour Party in complete disarray, led by Jeremy Corbyn. The Tories 20 points ahead in the polls. This was
That makes a lot of sense.
Chance to go, and there was a gap in the negotiations over Brexit that could be filled. So all of us, many people were saying there must be an election.
So basically, this election, assuming that Tories win handsomely, that looks likely, because I think the gap in the polls is enormous at the moment. Assume a big Tory victory.
Yes.
And you're arguing that Theresa May can then ignore the nutcases and go therefore for a softish Brexit?
I think that Theresa May...
Or is that wishful thinking on our part?
I think that's wishful thinking, but I think that Theresa May will go for a longer drawn-out Brexit, which will be softer, which gives a greater chance for the anti-rupture and anti-destructive Brexit argument to prevail over time. So that is what's good about it. Theresa May favours a hard Brexit. She favours a harsh cut in immigration. Yeah. She favours a complete break with the single market and refusal customs union in order to escape any jurisdiction of the European Court of Justice. So this is a hard Brexit. But I think that free of the nutcases, she will be willing to make this a 5 to 10 year process with quite a long transition period, rather than an abrupt process that would be very destructive.
Is it going to be the single big issue in the general election, or what will Labour do?
I think that Brexit will be the single big issue in this general election. I think that Labour is going to really struggle to provide any alternative issue. Jeremy Corbyn has shown a desire to turn himself into the Bernie Sanders of the British campaign, to try to make this a campaign about inequality and about the lost opportunities for the common man, in the way that Bernie Sanders did in the Democratic primary in the American presidential election last year. But I just don't think he's got the credibility or the party solidarity behind him to make that really the issue. So the question is, who do you vote for if you are wanting either not to have Brexit at all, or to avoid a destructive Brexit?
Well, Tim Farron would say Lib Dems.
I would say the strongest place to vote is the Liberal Democrats in England.
Yeah.
In Scotland, it's a different story. But in England, it's the Liberal Democrats. Labour, it will depend on the individuals. If I was voting Labour in a constituency, I would think, where will the person I'm voting for stand after Jeremy Corbyn has resigned as leader following a crushing defeat in this general election? So you'd have to think ahead to what might reform.
And do you think it will be a crushing defeat and the departure of Jeremy Corbyn?
I think it'll pretty certainly be a crushing defeat for Labour.
Yeah.
Whether it will lead to the departure of Jeremy Corbyn, I'm less sure of, because he and his people around him...
It's almost like a cult.
Yes.
And it's a sort of a...
He will, I'm sure, initially try to recast his crushing defeat as a form of victory.
Yeah. He's a politician after all.
And he certainly shows every sign of avoiding reality.
Well, let me finish by asking for your prediction about A, the result of the general election June the 8th, and B, the next few years until, we're supposed to be a fixed term parliament, so there'll be 5 years after this. What's going to happen?
Well-
What's your optimistic slant on this?
My view is that on June the 8th, the Conservatives will win with a comfortable majority, but not an overwhelming one. That actually voting across party lines for Lib Dems and others will reduce their majority below 100. So the Lib Dems will become much larger than they were, and similarly, tactical type of voting will strengthen other parties more than currently is shown in the national polls. That, nevertheless, will mean that the next few years will be dominated by a strong Conservative government, but a government that's able to slow down the process of Brexit in a way to lengthen the transition period and reduce the impact on the British economy. So I think that is a relatively benign outcome. But then there will be a referendum in Scotland at some point during this 5-year parliament, and I would predict that will lead to independence. So that within 5 years, I think that Scotland will be an independent country.
You heard it first here. Bill, thank you very much for riding cabs with us. Bill Emmott, thank you.
Great pleasure to be in the cab with you, John.